Good morning to you all, and welcome to this moment of faith. This Sunday's liturgy celebrates the resurrection and assures us that life in its fullness results from an existence made a gift and service in favor of our brothers and sisters. And the resurrection of Christ is a concrete example that confirms all of it. The resurrection, the first reading presents to us the example of Christ, who went through the world doing good and who, out of love, gave himself up to death. Therefore, God raised him up. The disciple witnesses of this dynamic must announce this way to all men. The resurrection of Jesus is the consequence of a life spent doing good and setting the oppressed free. This means that whenever someone along the line of Jesus strives to overcome selfishness, lies, injustice, and to make love triumph, he is resurrected. It means that whenever someone in line with Jesus gives himself to others and expresses his dedication to his brothers and sisters in concrete gestures, he is being resurrected. Am I resurrecting because I walk through the world doing good? Or is my life a submission to selfishness, pride, complacency? The resurrection of Jesus also means that fear, death, suffering, injustice no longer have power over those who loves, who gives themselves, who shares life with others. Those ones have secured the full life, that life which the powers of this world can neither touch nor restrict. They can thus face the world with the serenity that comes from faith. So we need to be aware that what allows us to dominate fear is to fight that what robs us from protecting the life and dignity of our brothers and sisters. As disciples of Christ, we are also asked to be witnesses of the resurrection. We did not see the empty tomb, indeed, but every day we experience the risen Lord alive and walking beside us, with us on the path of history. We have to witness this reality. However, our witness must be confirmed by concrete facts, by that life of love and self-giving, which is a sign, which is a sign of the new life of Jesus in us. The gospel confronts us with two attitudes towards the resurrection: that of the obstinate disciple who refuses to accept it because in its logic, total love and the giving of life can never generate new life. And the ideal disciple who loves Jesus and who therefore understands his path and his proposal, he is neither scandalized nor surprised that full life, true life, was born from the cross. So human logic follows the figure represented by Peter, who thinks that love shared until death, simple and unpretentious service giving of life only lead to failure and are not a solid and consistent path to success, triumph, to glory from the cross, from radical life, from self giving. Full life cannot result. That is the human logic, which is different from God's logic. How do I deal with it? In response to that, the resurrection of Jesus proves precisely that full life, full liberation, the total transfiguration of our realities, the total realization, the total transfiguration of our realities and our abilities passes through love that is given radically to the last consequences. Are we able to do so? Through the light of the resurrection, we are called to be aware of this and direct our life as a transfiguration of our daily making. By our faith, hope, by our following in Jesus Christ, and by the sacrament, the seed of the resurrection, which is Jesus Christ Himself, is deposited in the reality of you and I. Today, we are now clothed in Christ. We are new creature. We are therefore resurrecting until we reach fullness, full maturation, total life, when we overcome the barrier of physical death. Here then, the new humanity begins. That is why the figure of Peter can also represent here that old prudence of the institutional leaders of the church, which prevents them from going ahead in the journey of the people of God, from taking risk, from from accepting challenges, from joining the new, which today's gospel suggests us to embrace. Then our second reading and lastly of our last point of our part of our meditation invites you and I who are now clothed in Christ through the mystery of his resurrection to continue our journey of new life until the full transformation that will take place when through death we will cross the last frontier of our finitude. Adding to that, through the resurrection, we renew our baptism as we did yesternight, that introduces us into a dynamic of communion and commitment with the risen Christ. Therefore, may this Easter celebration help us to seriously commit ourselves to the risen Christ in taking the light we receive from the Paschal candle as witnesses of the resurrection to others, those we are working with, those we are schooling with, and so on and so forth. We are also we would like also to pray that the new light may be for us a way of putting off the old man, which is selfish and slavery to sin, and to put on the new man's clothes, who identifies himself with Christ and who lives in love, service, and self giving. So I wish you a wonderful Easter Sunday, and the Lord be with you.